We played hard, and as we just discussed in there, I think that we handled some of the details of what we wanted to do. For an example, press break, we worked on that for a few days because we knew they were going to press the entire game. We haven't played anybody who pressed us, and last year people rarely pressed, so we just don't have any experience against it. So we worked on that, and I thought that they handled the details of that pretty well. There are other things that we've worked on for years that every year we do it the same way, every single year. You know, how we defend staggered screens, how we defend inbounds. You know, I'm thinking about the shot at the end of the half. I'm thinking about the shot off the inbounds play right down here at the end of the game when I think we had it at 6 and we needed a stop and there were like 13 seconds on the shot clock and you know 24 gets wide open 3. We had just drawn that exact play up in the huddle and said this is what they're going to run and this is how we defend it. And the thing is, you know, about that play in particular is that we run that play and we defend it in practice every day. So when I said don't forget who's switching out on the shooter, and then we didn't do it, and she got a wide open shot, and you know those are the things that we just so need to clean up. We need to handle the details. Offensively, we missed so many shots, and that, you know, we've got some really young kids on the floor, and so we're really up and down offensively. So defensively, we can't afford to be up and down. We need to be solid, and that's part of what's missing. And I think it did take the wind out of our sails a bit when we kept getting such great looks at the basket and then missing them. I mean, I bet we missed 14 or more layups tonight.
You talked about putting a lot of focus on pressing. Do you think because of the team focused so much on pressing, they kind of minimized their efforts on some of the other focal points?
I don't know. I don't think that they consciously did that. I think that they're trying to absorb everything that we're asking them to do. The thing about it is that as your players get older and are with the program longer, they have done the same drills over and over, and so some of the things that we do become second nature. They just respond. They don't even really have to think about it. They just do it. It's part of what they've done for years. We're not at that point right now. Everybody who's playing is fairly young or did not play last year because of injuries. So we are having to think about every single thing, every play, every screen, how we handle it. We have to be thinking about it because it doesn't just come to us. And last year we had 3 girls on our team who started every game since their freshman year. So by the time they were seniors, we didn't have to drill that stuff so much because they just did it. They did it every day, every game, and now we're having to go back and review and review and review, and even in game situations where it comes faster, they don't just do it, and sometimes I think their minds are behind the play. And so when they realize, that's mine, I'm supposed to take that, it's too late.
So do you think the inexperience with players, you know, kind of leads to the struggles tonight?
For sure. I think so, for sure.
So I know it's early in the season still, but what areas do you think the team can improve on?
Well, we're working daily on improving our chemistry because none of the girls who are out there on the floor really played together last year. So chemistry, I think that's coming along. I think we are finding ourselves. But that just comes with time. I mean, just the more time. I don't know that there's a remedy for anything that's ailing us except just more reps, more practice, more time. And unfortunately, we're already in games. So we're going to have, and I said this earlier in a press conference, we are going to muddle through the beginning of this year as we are learning and forming habits that will benefit us at the end of the year. And if we pay attention to those details and we show them every time they make those mistakes and correct them, I think we'll be better off. But we're not going to see the results of that immediately. It's going to take us time to get where we need to be. And you know, so we're going to struggle through. Now we've had 2 home games and lost these 2 games, both winnable games. I think we were in a position to win. But in the end, they ended up playing a better game. And now we're going on the road for 3 games. And I think all of those games are all against mid-major opponents. They're all gettable games, but we're on the road, so we'll see how we respond to that. I don't know with this team, this young team, how we will respond to being on the road. So that may be a whole other thing that we have to tackle. And so we're going to have some growing pains. And we knew that was coming. I know when you're in a situation where, the game could go either way, you hate to let those get by, because there are going to be games that we're not ready to compete in. When we play against some higher quality, higher caliber teams, we're not going to be where they are. These games, the Bucknell game, this game, we were very similar to the caliber of the team. And the game could have gone either way. It was not like, oh gosh, and maybe this is my perception, but I don't feel like people sitting out there were looking at the teams going, geez, this Evansville team is just way better than Cleveland State.
Right.
I think that it was a competitive game, and that they made better decisions and made better plays, completed their plays better than we did, and defended better than we did. So those are the games you hate to lose, because we're not going to have a chance to get every game at this point of the year, because we're not ready. We're not that good yet. And so these are tough to take. These 2 games have been tough to take. But if we can continue to learn and we don't lose confidence over the course of time, we will be a much better team come conference season.
This was very much a winnable game. So can you talk about the late push in the 4th quarter?
Yeah.
I know there was a point in the game where you guys were down by 5 and you guys made a late push, but unfortunately...
Yeah, and I would say that the shots that were made on us, against us, they hit some big shots. Really have to give them credit for knocking down those shots. You think about the shot that 24 hit right before halftime. That was just it was a ball screen, and we had 2 people guarding the same person. They just passed it back to her. She's the second leading scorer in their conference. She's clearly their best player. And we talked all of our preparation time about how to defend her. She hits that shot because we have a defensive breakdown. She hits the shot over on the inbounds play because we have a defensive breakdown. Even when we made our push offensively, we didn't get the stops we needed defensively, and they made good decisions and handled their offensive possessions very well. So we weren't able to overcome the deficit we were in. And I think one of our kids, Kayla Livingston, who just came off of a great game, she was not making her shots. She ended up being 1 for 7, and then she started talking on the floor about how she couldn't make anything and she didn't want to shoot anymore because she couldn't make anything. So I had to take her out. If you don't think you're going to make it, then surely you're not going to make it. So, and that's sort of young, inexperienced, and as you have kids who have been in those situations before, they just exude confidence, like, well, I'll make the next one. I'll make the next one. And we're just not there yet. We're not there yet. So I'm not disappointed with their effort. I'm not disappointed in some of their attention to detail. Other attention to detail, I'm not, and I was asking him tonight, why did you grab this and do it exactly like I told you to do it? Like the press break. They ran it exactly like we wanted to run it. And then we have other things like inbounds plays that we work on all the time. And they didn't execute those things. So, we have to figure out how do we stay focused in all areas, because we are not to the point where things just come as second nature. And so time is what we need. We need time.
Right. So lastly, what are your goals for going into the next game?
Well, again, my opinion, I haven't watched any film. I don't like to watch film prior, but we have a few days, and my impression is seeing their scores with teams that we play against. They just played, we played Niagara. They just played Youngstown, who's in our league, and so I'm very familiar with them. It was a very competitive game. My feeling is that that's a winnable game too. And so what what will we focus on? Well, we're going to focus on paying attention to detail in all aspects, not just one, not just two, because until this really comes more easily to us. Like, nothing's coming easily to us right now. We have to really think about everything. It's mentally taxing. And I know that the more fatigued they get, the less attention they're paying to the details of what they need to do. So my focus will be on preparing to win that game and, getting that road win, and, as will be the next several games. But we need to take a step, and I think our kids are very aware of where they need to be better. And we'll just continue to be honest with them and ask them to do a better job and just keep working to be better. So